In reality, Russian defense chiefs detonated tractors in Ukrainian fields while claiming to have destroyed a deadly Leopard 2 tank supplied by Germany. Yevgeny Prigozhin, the commander of the Wagner private army, led the jeering, viewing it as yet more proof of the army and Putin's defense chief's bumbling incompetence. However, according to military analysts, the footage actually showed Russia destroying farm vehicles with a missile fired from an attack helicopter, the Ka-52 Alligator. So keep watching, and we'll tell you how Leopard tanks got destroyed in Russia. So let's get going. What kind of machine is that? A Russian crew member on the chopper can be heard asking in the video. The sound of one soldier saying, "Let's hit it," is followed by the other saying, "Ready to hit it." They then made a strike, which they announced by saying, "Yeah, direct hit." The footage, according to the Defense Ministry's propaganda unit, shows the destruction of foreign armored vehicles, including Leopard tanks. The ministry's spokesperson, Lieutenant General Igor Konashenkov, boasted about significant Ukrainian losses but offered no compelling evidence. Over 1,500 Ukrainian service members, 28 tanks, including 8 Leopard tanks made in the FRG, 3 AMX-10 wheeled tanks made in France, and 109 armored fighting vehicles were all lost in the most recent fighting. However, the assertion that the Leopard tank footage proved German tanks had been destroyed was quickly refuted by Russian military analysts. The Russian Ministry of Defense published some footage, and the military informer Telegram channel scoffed, "We do not want to state anything, but the vehicles in the footage do not even remotely resemble tanks in their silhouette." The silhouettes resemble combine harvesters the most. The distinctive high-mounted discharge augers or pipes, which are clearly not guns given their location, serve as proof of this. The tanks don't even appear to have turrets. Both a John Deere 4830 sprayer-like tractor and a John Deere 9000 grain harvester were suspected targets. The military analysts remarked, "We do not know why it was necessary to present footage of a mistaken defeat of agricultural machinery as an actual video of the defeat of the Leopards." The leader of the Wagner mercenary group, Prigozhin, also charged that Russian forces had confused combine harvesters with Leopard 2 tanks. He sarcastically remarked, "The Russian Ministry of Defense has today posted some impressive work by its troops." The video unequivocally demonstrates Leopard tanks moving in a peculiar tactical maneuver toward one another. These tanks are actually combine harvesters in disguise. They have downward bent muzzles. This didn't stop our troops from spotting enemy gear in them. I appreciate the good work you did, Russian troops. Now anything with a bent muzzle will be destroyed. Prigozhin also criticized the Russian Defense Ministry's claims that it had killed 1,500 soldiers from Kiev in the troubled city of Bakhmut in just 2 days, calling them absurd science fiction. After his government claimed to have stopped a second significant offensive in Donetsk, Prigozhin, whose mercenary troops have been fighting for the Kremlin in Bakhmut for months, rallied against its leadership. The 61-year-old said it would take daily gains of 150 kilometers, or 93 miles, to kill that many Ukrainian troops in comments posted on the Telegram channel of his press service. Prigozhin declared, "I therefore think that this is just wild and ridiculous science fiction." He added sarcastically that adding up the numbers the ministry provided would mean we have already destroyed the entire planet 5 times over. Separately, Prigozhin demanded that he be given command of 200,000 soldiers to clean up the mess that the Russian forces had left behind. He's issued a warning that, due to the Army High Command's incompetence, Russia is losing the war. He claimed that the Wagner PMC is currently the only fully functional army structure equipped with all necessary aircraft, helicopters, tanks, and artillery. He issued a warning that Ukraine had already crossed Russian defenses. The Russian military's top brass came under fire from Prigozhin last week after Ukrainian forces were able to retake settlements on the outskirts of Bakhmut. The fact that Kiev's troops were able to push Russian lines back and take control of Berkivka, a town in the beleaguered city's northern suburbs, was described by Prigozhin as a disgrace. After months of bloody combat resembling trench warfare in World War I, with tens of thousands of casualties on both sides, Prigozhin's Wagner group was only last month able to seize Bakhmut from Ukrainian control. Ukraine has issued a warning after explosions at a significant dam and hydroelectric plant resulted in widespread flooding in the Kherson region and sparked a humanitarian catastrophe, raising concerns that Russia may be planning to blow up the largest nuclear power plant in Europe. Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, charged Russia with igniting an environmental bomb of mass destruction, saying authorities anticipated up to 80 settlements would be flooded and urging the international community to react. This crime carries enormous threats and will have dire consequences for people's lives and the environment, Zelensky said, while U.S. security officials warned there would be likely many deaths as a result of the floods. The explosion has been attributed to Ukraine by the Kremlin, which claims it was a plot by Kiev to divert attention away from the start of a significant counteroffensive that is allegedly faltering. Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, called the attack on the dam a barbaric act. The Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant, which is located just 80 miles up the river from Kakhovka and uses water from the dam to cool its reactors, may be attacked by Putin as his next move, according to Zelensky's top security official, Alexei Danilov, who also rejected the accusations. According to Mr. Danilov, Putin has begun a fundamentally new stage of Russian aggression and is ready to do anything because he had the hydroelectric power plant blow up on his demand. Tens of thousands of people will be forced to flee their homes when the dam that divides Russian and Ukrainian forces in southern Ukraine is destroyed. Although Ukraine warned late last year that Russian forces had mined the dam as they fled from Kherson, and the state hydroelectric company of Ukraine claimed that Kakhovka plant was destroyed by an explosion in the engine room, suggesting an internal attack rather than external attacks, it's still unclear what caused the explosions. According to Ukrainian authorities, 17,000 people were being evacuated and 24 villages had been completely flooded. Prosecutor General Andriy Kostin stated that 25,000 more people needed to be evacuated on the Russian-occupied side of the Dnieper because over 40,000 people are in danger of being flooded. Alexei Kuleba, a presidential advisor, stated late Tuesday that the evacuation will continue tomorrow and in the coming days by bus and train. In this horrifying video, towns are seen being completely flooded and houses being swept away. As a Russian-installed local mayor warned that the water level would continue to rise for another 72 hours and claimed he expected 40-foot-high floods in some places, village streets and fields close to the dam have been inundated by flooding. Zelensky accused Russia of placing mines at the dam last October and forewarned that its destruction would result in a fresh influx of refugees into Europe. The Agricultural Ministry predicted that several times more farmland would be flooded on the left bank of the river than the 150 tons of engine oil that Kiev reported had spilled into the river. The damage was also attributed to Russia by Western powers. EU Chief Charles Mitchell called it a war crime, and NATO Chief Jens Stoltenberg called the dam breach outrageous. Although it was too soon to make a firm determination, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that the nation's military and intelligence agencies were looking into whether Russia blew up the dam. The attack was described as another devastating consequence of the Russian invasion of Ukraine by UN Security General Antonio Guterres. He said today's tragedy is yet another illustration of the horrendous price of war on people. Colonel Igor Korchenko, a military expert from Russia, blamed the British and American intelligence agencies. "I'm positive that London and Washington planned this massive terrorist attack. I believe we must see the British influence in this. Their intelligence, along with the Ukrainians, contributed to what transpired with the dam. This is directly London's and Washington's fault. A spade must be called a spade." Korchenko is the magazine's chief editor and a well-known military TV propagandist in Russia. So that's it. What do you think about this? Leave a comment and let us know. Subscribe to our channel to make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.